Hello and welcome to REVEL. Don't worry if you're not familiar with REVEL quite yet. That's why we're here.
The period that followed came to be known as Reconstruction for several reasons.
We know that some students are visual learners, others are auditory, and others are somewhere in between. So we wanted to make sure every type of learner could achieve their goals when reading their text through REVEL. We placed videos in the actual text to help add some context to what you're reading. Author videos act as chapter openers and start off every major section of a chapter, which highlight relevant competing visions of history and key images too. There are also other types of videos in REVEL as you read that you'll come across to help you understand exactly what you're reading. So do you think you would be more engaged if short videos were placed throughout the chapter so you could get a sense of what you were about to read or what you've just read?
Chapter 14, Now That We Are Free, opens with the image, A Visit from the Old Mistress. At first glance, it looks like a scene out of slavery, but it's not. It's actually painted 10 years after emancipation, in the year 1875. And the painting is full of tension between the former slaves on the one hand and the former mistress on the other. And this tension gets at and reveals the main competing vision of the period Reconstruction, that when African Americans gained their freedom, they wanted full and complete civil rights, whereas Southern whites, on the other hand, wanted to give them the minimal freedoms and minimal rights, if any at all. And that tension runs throughout the period Reconstruction.
Ever wonder about the story behind some of the most influential images in history? As you read the text, you'll come across a few historical images that are displayed throughout and analyzed to reveal how they were used to express opinions, shape perceptions, and even influence policy. Beyond the analysis of images in the narrative, in each chapter, the Images as History feature focuses on one or two images in depth. This feature encourages you to read images as text, with multiple meanings that speak to both the past and the present. Images as History unpacks the meaning and purpose of images, including cartoons, posters, magazine illustrations, fine art, and photographs. You'll find the same section in your printed textbook version, but it obviously is much more interactive when you're reading your text through REVEL. Have you ever thought about what went into some of the decisions that shaped history as we know it? The choices confronting political leaders and ordinary people, and the consequences of their decisions, are a consistent theme of this particular text in REVEL. In each chapter, the choices and consequences feature diagrams the choices leaders and ordinary people grappled with at key moments in America's history. How do you think visualizing these complex and sometimes agonizing choices help you think about history and of human agency? Now in REVEL, you'll of course be able to highlight the text and take notes, as we mentioned when we were looking at the navigation bar. All you have to do is click, hold, and drag your mouse over the text that you want to highlight, and a note box will appear. Between the sections, you'll also be able to check your knowledge by taking short quizzes. There are never more than 5 multiple choice questions, and sometimes there are only 3. Some of the quizzes also integrate those images we talked about earlier. At the end of the chapter, you'll also have flashcards to help you study. So that's your textbook through REVEL. What do you think about active reading through REVEL? Do you think history might be more engaging when you're reading more actively? Let us know what you think.